Welcome, fellow nerds, geeks, and crypto miners. Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for bearing with us with technical difficulties, but we got it behind us. We're here moving forward. I'm here with Payne with Elphapex, the head of business development. And how are you today, Payne? How's it? Can it go ahead and speak again? I didn't hear that one. Let's make sure that your audio is working.
Hey, Alex, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Good.
How are you, Alex? I'm good.
Oh man, it's been a week, dude. It has been a week full of Mondays, like between day jobs and like technical difficulties and things going on. I'm glad it's the weekend. I'll tell you that.
For sure. Appreciate that. Thanks for the patience. It's been a while since we talked, for sure. So excited to
it has been a while. Yeah, thank you for accepting my invite and joining me. And real quick before we get too deep into it, I want to thank everybody for joining Automatic Beats, 10 Minutes to Midnight, Techman Ty, Fiddler, Steven Cicero, anybody that I missed, Crypto Pounder 4. Good afternoon, guys. A little bit quick housekeeping. If you have questions, tag me. Questions for me or Payne or just in general, you want to ask questions. Make sure you tag me, so that when we get closer to that time, we can go back and refer and answer all of your questions, guys. So Payne, I'll just jump into it. You've been with Elphapex for going on 2 years now. Is that right?
That's right.
Awesome, man. From the research I saw, it looks like you've had a pretty fascinating career, from founding a tech startup to Tesla to TikTok, and now leading business development at Elphapex. What brought you to the crypto mining side of life, and how do you think that your diverse background has shaped your approach in this industry?
Wow, good question. Well, just a quick intro of myself. The name is Payne. I've spent the past 10 years or so in the Bay Area, hopping between a few tech companies, right? So the first I started at Tesla doing supply chain management, and then I moved to Postmates / Uber Eats doing data analytics and strategy. And then right before I came over, before the beginning of last year, I was at TikTok doing strategy and business development as well. So I think my background is quite diverse. I'll say, it gives me a lot of perspectives and different knowledge, right? In all aspects of this business, right? If you think about what we do here as a manufacturer, there's obviously supply chain, there's logistics, there's my function now is BD. Obviously, I think my background really give me the perspectives of different.
See if we can turn you up a little bit. It seems like, whoops. Hold on.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Are you still there?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
we may have lost you
for a minute there. Okay, I'm back now.
Your audio's there, but your video's
not.
Let's
see. Give me 1 second.
There we go.
Okay, are we back?
I can see
you now. Yes, we're good. Okay, perfect. Sorry.
You're good.
Technical difficulties, for sure. But yeah, had a chance to come over to the space as of the beginning of last year. To me, it was a super exciting opportunity, as obviously, we know that this space has been quite exciting, and obviously we're there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of good positive things happening in the space, right? From a policy perspective, from a capital perspective, and the company Elphapex obviously is doing a lot of great things for this space. So really glad to be part of the company, be part of this space, and contribute.
Excellent. Very cool. Very cool. So, speaking of your time at Tesla, what similarities do you see in scaling production and hardware production from the auto industry to the mining industry?
Wow, good question. I think one thing that Tesla preached is to be scrappy, right, and really focus on the quality of the product, right? So from our perspective, Alphapex, the company has been around for about 6 years, right? We spent the first 4 years really focusing on the product development and R&D, right? So we had many iterations of our first product, which is DG1, that we released at the beginning of last year. Before that, we spent 4 years, right, doing iterations and improvements, and really we wanted to come out with a really solid product when we entered the market, which we did. And pretty quickly after that, as of last year, right, like as we know, the DG series for air-cooled version, we have DG1, DG1 Plus, and then now this year DG2, which really broke a barrier of entering that point, like 0.19 joule per efficiency, right? And also last year we also came out with the very first hydro Doge miner, and also the home miner, right? So R&D is really a big strength of our company. And we will continue to reinvest right into our R&D, into our development, and continue to come out with quality product, and continue to hopefully help set standards right for the industry and for Dogecoin mining.
Yeah, and I mean, I can speak for many people that the DG series specifically has been phenomenal as far as efficiency, as far as reliability. For anybody that I've talked to that has, used the machines or has the machines or hosts the machines, we've got quite a few out there that are at different hosting facilities. So, your R&D obviously paid off. You're doing a good job, especially comparing to some of the other 800-pound gorillas out there. It's really cool to see, somebody coming up and like coming in swinging, and not just another fly-by-night OEM that may not be here in a year. It is interesting to see, and a blessing to see that you guys have solidified a footprint in the industry.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's definitely the intention, right? Is to obviously there are different manufacturers out there, and we appreciate all the everyone's contribution to the ecosystem, right? Because it shouldn't be just one person's game. The more options there are, I think, the better it is for eventually for the miners, right? Because people have different options, and competition, healthy competition really helps everyone to advance. But when we come in, we want to be able to, really be the best and continue to be the best and help set standards, right? So that we are all better off in a sense, and eventually the people who benefit from the competition from the different options will be the miners eventually.
For sure. And with that, so Elphapex is quickly becoming a leader in the script mining space. Do you see opportunities for the company to leverage its hardware and supply chain expertise to expand into other niche markets within the broader blockchain or data center industry? Like, are we going to see an Elphapex Bitcoin ASIC anytime in the future?
Great question. I think we selected the Dogecoin mining space very carefully, for multiple reasons. For Bitcoin, we don't have the plan to enter that space right as of now. Because again, we picked Dogecoin mining very particularly, and we have a plan to continue to be the best in this space, right? Dogecoin to us have many unique attributes and unique features, right, compared to Bitcoin, and we believe in the long term potential of Dogecoin, right? So that's why we picked the path, and that's why we're gonna stick with it, and hopefully, again, continue to be the best manufacturer in the space.
Nice. That resonates with me. Something I say at work is do what you do best and outsource the rest. You may not be outsourcing, but you're sticking to what you do best, and I can appreciate that as well.
For sure, for
Um,
sure.
and it's funny because you're like, I'm scrolling down on my questions, and you're like answering the questions as we go along. I'm like, damn it. Um, so the crypto mining market is incredibly competitive, with new machines and new OEMs popping up almost every quarter now. Beyond the specs of your miners, what is the core strategic vision that you believe will secure Elphapex's long-term leadership in the script mining space?
Wow, great question. Um, I think you kind of mentioned that already, right? Which is, for us, from our perspective, we want everyone in the space to do what they're best at doing, right? Meaning, for us as a manufacturer, for example, people ask the question, do we do self mining, right? From our perspective, we want everyone to do what they're best at, right? So miners should be mining, and as a manufacturer, we'll be manufacturing and doing R&D and coming out with the best products, right? So to us, that way we can win together to the maximum extent, right? If that makes sense. So we have people we let people to specialize in what they do the best, and then for us, it's R&D, it's manufacturing, it's supply chain, it's logistics, is all of that. It's after sales support, it's services, right? Those are the things that we're good at, and those are the things that we will be focusing on, and that's really our long-term vision, right? Is number one is to continue to, again, to be the best manufacturer in Dogecoin mining space, and also number two, on a higher level, is to continue to contribute to proof of work, right? I think that's the bigger vision that we have, and again, to us, Dogecoin mining, serves exactly that.
Yeah, let the makers make and let the miners mine.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you bring that up. I did ask you on the when you were live with Hobbyist if Elphapex was doing self mining, but what about you? Are you doing any self mining? Like, do you have any machines anywhere?
Good question. I've always wanted to. There's a great opportunity coming up. There's this little advertisement, I guess, if you put it that way. But we have a partnership with Ku Mining, which is call it a vertical under KuCoin, on cloud mining, right? So we're supplying the hardware to contribute to the hash rate that Ku Mining is offering to their clients, and as a, call it a retail miner or investor, or someone who wants to get into mining Dogecoin, it's a really easy access to try, right? And I know I believe they're going to start offering their first batch of hash rate on the 16th, at 6 p.m.
Mm,
6 p.m. China time, which is 6 in the morning U.S. East Coast time.
yeah.
I know they're offering really good deals on these hash rate contracts. So whoever is interested should maybe just follow them on X, pay some attention to it. They have a week of campaign, and they're going to start to release hash rate every single week. So to me, that's a really good way to get into Dogecoin mining if you haven't yet.
Hmm.
And as a retail investor, as a manufacturer, right, we try to offer all the different options to get more people into mining, right? For example, when we came up with the DG Home One, that was the purpose and the intention as well, because at the end of the day, the more people there are in Dogecoin mining, the more different nodes there are, the more secure the network, the more decentralized the network is, right? So as a
Yeah.
manufacturer, that's one of our missions, and we continue to explore different ways to offer hash rate and to lower the barrier of entry.
That's super interesting, and I love that concept of kind of doing it in like waves or phases instead of getting a giant, warehouse full of machines and turn them all at once. You can kind of phase it out or roll it out slowly and say this is phase one of hash rate and this is phase two of hash rate and so on and so forth. That's an interesting way to do it. Is like release hash rate a little bit at a time.
Yeah, for sure. And also, just from a company perspective, we also, obviously there's so many things that we can do, right? Like people ask us, hey, do you do hosting? Do you do, this and that? But we want to, obviously make the right decision at every single step that we take. And, good things take time, right? That's something I preach personally as well in my personal life, right? That
Yeah.
there's so many things we can do, but we always prioritize, what's the most important or what's the most appropriate to do at the time. And really, every step we take, we want to make sure it's the not only the correct step, but also we do it to the fullest, right? So that everyone involved or everything we offer is of its best quality, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So onto your DG series, onto your miners. Your DG1 was 11 gigahash at 3,400-ish watts, and the DG1 Plus jumped to 14 gigahash. Now the DG2 is marketed at 18 gigahash, and then the DG2 Plus is at 20 and a half gigahash.
Correct.
Without giving away the secret sauce, can you walk us through some of the advancements and improvements from your last generation to this one, and what else sets the DG2 apart from other machines?
Yeah, for sure. So like I mentioned earlier, right? Like we put a lot of effort and time and energy into R&D, and we really have a killer R&D team, right? From DG1, put it in a very, I guess, straightforward and simple way. DG1 Plus and DG2, they utilize the same chips, but because our R&D team is so above and beyond, right? They put in a lot of effort and did a lot of iterations. The design of the chip is a little bit different, right? Which
Hmm.
is what made the DG2 more efficient and more powerful compared to DG1 Plus.
Interesting. Very cool. No, I wasn't aware of that. Um, so, how do you balance developing next generation miners with the need to support and improve on existing products?
Oh, great question. I think from a higher level, the way this game works, right, is always for from a miner's perspective, is always finding cheap energy, right, finding cheap hardware, and finding more efficient, more powerful miner, right? Because obviously, as the network develops, as more people are paying attention to this network, there will be more hash rate, right, which will result in higher difficulty to mine and less profitability, right, over time, just like we've seen with Bitcoin. So from a manufacturer's perspective, obviously we have to come in just like Apple, right? Like you got to continue to have newer phones and thinner and more efficient
Mm-hmm.
and more storage, better camera, all that, right? So from a manufacturer's perspective, we devote ourselves to again offer more efficient and more powerful products to the miners out there. So, but we also want to do it in a very healthy and conscious way where we are not flushing the market with hash. right? Because otherwise that's going to devastate, destroy the whole network as well. So for us, I guess the balance is number one, obviously come out with better product, and number two is to consciously not overflood the market, right, with hash rate.
So it's a slow burn model.
It's a slow burn or healthy or sustainable, right? Like I think it's we want the network to be healthy. We want the network to be healthy for the longer term, right? And but obviously innovation has to be there to continuously create interest and help people maintain interest in the space and help us become maintain competitiveness.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And guys, if you have questions in the chat, make sure that you're tagging me so that we can go back and revisit those when we get closer to that time. So, Payne, you had mentioned energy consumption, and as miners, we all know that's like the path to success is having the right, power cost, power consumption. That's our biggest hurdle that we go after. Looking ahead, what do you see as the most promising long-term solution for sustainable mining practices, and what role will Elphapex play in that transition?
I think from a minor perspective, something we've and I've been preaching is to do the right things at the right time, right? A lot of times, right, like now, I guess as of last night, Doge was trading at 30 cents. It went from 2021 to 30 in about like a week.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm sure people are getting excited and they want to buy miners, and of course, right, like you should be doing that because obviously the coin is showing potential as we've all believed in, right? But as a miner, for your own success, for your sustainability, is always making the right decision at the right time, right, and continuously doing that. Meaning, right, like if you do have long-term belief in Doge or in mining in proof of work, then the counterintuitive thing to do is to invest, right, when during a bear cycle, right, when things are a little cheaper. But obviously nothing wrong getting in after you see the potential, you actually see the result of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
But if you got your question right, is what to do to be sustainable in the long term, right? To me, which is investing at the right time, right, and really firming up the belief and do the things when other people are scared to do, right? Just like buying a stock, right? Buy low and sell high. And the good thing I think about everything stock crypto is that there are cycles, right? And you have to be able to have believe in what you believe, right, and make the right decisions when you're supposed to.
Yeah, for sure. So outside of the hardware, looking more at larger technology trends like AI and automation, blockchain as a service, things like that. What do you believe will be the biggest or have the biggest impact on the crypto mining space over the next 5 years or so?
Wow. Okay, that's a loaded question. I think um, obviously in the space we're seeing a lot of trends of transitioning from mining to perhaps AI data centers,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think I think that's one of the factors we always have to consider. Depends on obviously, but depends on your situation, depends on what kind of power you have, what kind of rate that you have, and what kind of setup you have for your infrastructure. That might be a good idea to mix in some AI hash rate or power there. But again, I think for miners in general, the question will always be finding better power, right? And finding more
Oh
sustainable
yeah.
power, finding greener power, and then also vertically integrating perhaps, right? Is how do you um, it's just the formula is so simple, right? It's transitioning power to crypto, and that's equivalent to finding cheaper power, finding cheaper equipment, getting better operations, having higher uptime, right? Especially for Doge because it's so profitable compared to Bitcoin. Sometimes the power consumption, the power cost percentage for Dogecoin is a lot lower compared to Bitcoin, right? So you
Oh, yeah.
always want to power on, but most of the time, right? Unless it gets crazy. So having more consistent operations and maintaining a high up rate, right? So those are the important things. It sounds simple, but it's really not, right? As if you're a miner, you know this. It sounds simple, but it's not. So those are the things that we have to continuously, explore, better options in.
For sure. And yeah, really all it comes down to is the cost of power. Everybody, we love mining. We want to be able to, churn and push that blockchain forward. But like I went from 8 cents a kilowatt hour in Georgia to 14 cents here in Illinois. And it's like, dude, I've got all of these machines and all of this equipment and I can't do anything with it. You know what I mean? Like not sustainably and not to a reasonable degree. I'm not one to drop that kind of money and be on bleeding edge technology. If I was buying a machine in Georgia at 8 cents, I'd buy a DG1 or DG1 Plus or DG1 Lite because the cost is lower, the revenue is lower, but it balances out for me, and that makes sense for me and my cost. Like now, if I got a machine that's worth turning on, I'm gonna have to send it off. Like I've got to send it to a shipping facility or a hosting facility. It's crazy at how much a couple of cents makes such a big difference when it comes to sustainability and profitability on these machines, just in the industry as a whole. It's
Yeah,
wild.
for sure, for sure. I mean, that's going to be continues to be the battle, right? And that's why people ask the question, like, hey, how do you see mining in different areas or different parts of the world, right? There are different challenges and there are different opportunities, but eventually, what people look for is cheap and sustainable energy, right? And good
Yeah.
operations. And but the thing is, for miners in the states, the two, I guess, the strength that we have in the states, number one is regulation and policy, right? This
Mm.
is fully legal, is fully supported, and obviously the current administration is really giving it a boost, right? And we're all seeing kind of the benefit from these policies and from these regulations, from these legislations, legislations, getting approved. And number two is really the ability to raise money and to scale really quickly, right? And
Hmm.
that's something that nowhere else in the world can compete against. And as we all know, mining is game of speed, right? Whoever comes in first and um, take that early mover benefit will most
Mm.
likely be successful for a longer term, as we've all seen in the success of companies like Marathon or Riot or CleanSpark, right? It's the early mover benefit, and then we're kind of started to see that, right, in Dogecoin mining, as more institutional money and more institutional investors are diverting their attention to the space.
Hmm. So I'm glad you brought up policies and regulations. So if you're in a room with regulators drafting new crypto mining policies, they ask you for your advice. What's the one regulation you'd fight hardest for or against to protect this industry's future?
That I don't dare to speak about policy or policymakers, but
Okay, I can
um,
appreciate that.
I I know, what I've heard about some of the challenges, right, in certain areas like upstate New York, or like Quebec, right, in Canada, is the fact that a lot of the new power is not getting improved, right, and
Mm,
a lot of them are, whoever's mining those areas are more grandfathered in. The debate has always been, part of the debate has always been, hey, is crypto mining a waste of energy, right? Especially for proof of work. Is it good for the grid? Are we taking too much power, energy? To me, really, it's really helping, right, rather than consuming more energy, right? Because if you think about it, crypto mining is more like a battery that absorbs the energy when the residential or industrial demand is not there, right? And um, the amount of revenue this industry is helping to generate really helps to build out better grid, build out better infrastructure, right, for the state, for the country as well. So to me, it's really not a debate. It's we we're seeing the effect, we're seeing the result of crypto mining, or not only is generating revenue, but also is helping to build better infrastructure, right, for everyone else. So I think if I dare to say one thing, I think that's one of the things I've been observing, right? And I think people should pay a bit more attention to that topic.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was talking to some friends and coworkers at the day job, and they were talking about the impact crypto mining has had on the power industry, and how AI would be completely different, and having AI data centers pulling just as much or more power than like Bitcoin mines and crypto mining, facilities. There's a huge difference there, and I had to kind of back up and be like, guys, you don't understand. If a data center takes up X many gigawatts or whatever it is, versus a crypto mining facility, they're not gonna turn off. Those AI data centers, they're not going to turn off to curtail or help forward that energy use to a better place within the region or whatever it might be. Where Bitcoin miners will, the power grid and the power companies will pay these Bitcoin miners and crypto mining facilities a lot of money just to turn off for a day or two or a week or a month or however long they need it. So it's like a reserved instance, almost like an RI. Talking about Azure terms, again, at the day job, we were kind of joking about it that way, but it's that awareness in the industry that, or outside of the industry, that they see it as like Bitcoin mining bad for the industry, bad for the grid and the environment and all of these things. So I think a lot of awareness really needs to come out there, and I can appreciate the current administration kind of backing crypto in general, but I feel that they could do a better job. And I try not to get political on this channel. Everybody has their own opinions and thoughts, and you're absolutely allowed to do that. Just don't do it on my channel. But I think that this administration, having somebody specifically in that role able to come out and kind of spell it out, put it on a whiteboard on NBC or whatever, and show that this is the impact and how it actually matters, would make a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure. I think you're exactly right, Alex. It's as miners, we're incentivized to turn on and to turn off, right?
And to turn off, yeah.
In most areas, and again, we really act like a battery, right? That can turn on and turn off. But also at the same time, you're absolutely right? That the space continuously need a lot of education, or I guess for even folks outside of the space, right, to continuous education to help people understand how this industry works and what are some of the benefits that we bring, right, not only to the mining folks, but also to the other folks.
Yeah.
It's one of the challenges, or one of the things that we focused on for Dogecoin mining as well, right, is to continuously educate or help people understand, why Dogecoin, and why mining Dogecoin, right? So it's a process. It takes time, and we are here collectively to hopefully offer those knowledge and be patient, and help people understand what this is.
So I want to jump over and answer some questions that people have asked in the chat. Let me scroll up a little bit. There's not too many here. Let's see. Well, of course, TechMantai is going to ask, need to know how much the DG1 home is shipped. Well, I guess that's going to depend on where you are, TechMantai, but there's a deal going on right now too. Check out their website, elphapex.com if you're interested. I think I got a promo code on X. If you guys follow me, go over there and find my promo code if you're interested. Has Crypto KJ, has Elphapex cross paths with Locotech, and if so, what are your thoughts on them? Have you seen the Locotech industry and the company the things that they're building over there?
Yeah, of course, the hash blades, right?
Yes. Yes.
We I guess we're old acquaintances, if you put it that way, right? Because we're always at the same conferences. Again, obviously, we appreciate all kind of innovations and friendly competitions, right? Because for us, if the product actually works, it's an inspiration for us as well. Maybe we'll come out with something similar.
Yeah.
People have applications for those kind of products, and obviously we we will, and we want to offer something similar, if not better. So again, we welcome all kind of different friendly competition. I think that the only thing it will do is to be better for the space, and eventually it's going to benefit all the miners.
I agree. I'm super interested in their products, and you know as much as anyone. Like you said, you did R&D for several years before you ever released a product. They've been in R&D mode for several years as well, and I think they're getting close to a final release of a product. I can't wait to see what it is. You know the hardships that come along with getting products back from development, and then it doesn't work out, and you have to kind of go back to the drawing board or tweak things a little bit and then wait, get back in line, get another iteration of chips and whatever it turns out to be. So I
For
think they're
sure.
going through those growing pains right now.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, there's a reason why there's only a handful of manufacturers in the space who can deliver at scale and continuously doing that.
Yeah,
It's not just R&D, but also the supply chain, also manufacturing, also all of these other parts that we have to build out, which we have we're fortunate that we have all these pieces in place and since the beginning, but obviously it's not that simple. So, again, that there's a reason why there's only a handful of manufacturers who are successful and who are here for the longer term.
good deal. Good deal. Okay. Um, so this wasn't an answer in the chat, but I'm going to ask anyway. When are we going to see the DG Home 2?
It's coming. It's on the
Okay.
road. It's like I said, the R&D is always going on in the background. Those are the
Yeah.
contributions and the peoples that we don't really see from the outside, but those nameless heroes are constantly working, right? And we obviously, air cooled is the kind of the most prevalent or the most applicable format of all mining. But once we have the technology, for example, for DG2, just rest assured there will be new generations of the home 2, the hydro 2, so on and so forth.
Yeah. So what about a kind of a mid tier there where you've got, your DG2 series or your, big boy DG series that's, several thousand watts. And then you've got your home series that's a couple hundred watts, something that you can, put under your Xbox or whatever in your entertainment center. What about a mid grade, a 1200, a 1500 watt, 1800 watts box?
Oh, that's an interesting question. TBD. I think that's an interesting area to explore. But obviously, the most clear path forward is kind of the two extremes, right? Either you
Sure.
fully utilize your voltage and your watts, or you just really lower it and create a really low barrier to entry, right? So those are the areas we focus on in the beginning. I think there might be use cases for something in the middle, but not something we decided to go forward with in the beginning, right? But down the road,
Sure.
I can totally see the potential of having something like that.
Awesome. You guys heard it here first. Okay. Remember that. Remember who asked that question. All right. So imagine you've got 60 seconds for an elevator pitch of the DG2 to someone who's never mined a coin in their life, but you can't mention hash rate, watts, or ROI. What do you say?
Whoa, you're throwing me all different
Come on, man. Keep me
questions.
on your toes, buddy.
If I have to pitch someone to get into mining in general, I wouldn't pitch a DG2. I'll pitch something like a DG Home 1, right? Again, that's the
Mm,
product that we come forward with to help more people get into mining, right? Or at least try. Like, stories I've heard is people, buying DG Home 1 for their kids, right? Like, try to get into
mm,
mining when they're young. It's super simple. Just turn it on and set up the pool and off we go, right? We're off to the races. For something like a DG2 or even DG1, whatever it might be for industrial scale, it's a little bit challenging, right? Like you have to either run in your garage in a space with a converter, or you have to find a hosting partner, right? So I'll probably pitch something like a DG Home 1, and really, I would mention it's if the person is not revenue driven, right? I'll probably mention something like the accessibility of it, and then like why proof of work, and why it
mm.
matters,
Yeah,
and the fact that is really, it really has a low barrier to entry, right? And to really try it, like we've like I have one of my clients works at a church, right? And they have space that have some industrial really cheap power, and they really want to get into mining to help support the church operation.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they started with a home one, DG home one, and they are, planning to transition into more industrial grade mining, right? Just to support operations at the church. So there are many, many, many different applications and different reasons why people get into mining, right? It can be revenue driven, it can be whatever it might be, right? I think that's the beauty and the charm of mining in general.
Crypto for the Lord. That should be a T-shirt. I love it. I love it. Um, so you as a former founder, you have experience building a business from the ground up. What is one piece of advice you would give to an entrepreneur looking to enter the crypto hardware space today?
Great questions. I think for me, from my perspective, right, like either owning your own business or working at some other businesses. To me personally, the one thing that I preach is always customer first, right? It's always how do you support your customers and clients, right? Everything, all the needs are generated from your customers, and you always have to think from their perspective, right? How do you make their life easy? How do you make it make sense for your customers, right? It doesn't matter from a service perspective, from a hardware perspective, from whatever it is, right? You always have to think from your customers' perspective and their shoes. And that's, I think, our company is so awesome. Elphapex is so awesome because everyone works here, share the same philosophy of putting the customer first. And, if you can, I think it's pretty obvious from our product, from our services, from our after sales support, from all different aspects, right? Like we really want to make sure our clients are successful, and only that way can you be successful.
That's a good answer, and that resonates with me. Instead of what can I sell you, it's how can I help you. Less transactional, more relationship based. In my day job in a former life as a technical account manager, my customers knew when I walked in the door and I said, "You need a new server." It's because that hot, loud, angry box in the closet is about to die, not because I'm trying to hit a number at the end of the quarter. So, being in those same kind of shoes at one point, I can appreciate that, and that really resonates with me.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you saying that too. It's because to me it's very simple. Right? It's not me trying to sell you something, but it's rather me. Is how do we help each other, right? And if something that I'm selling doesn't help you, I'm not going to go out there and sell you that thing, right? Because it doesn't help you, and if it doesn't help you, it doesn't help me. I think the demand that there ever are for anything should be organic, right? And demand will meet supply, supply will meet demand, and I think it should happen in a very organic and healthy and mutual way.
For sure, for sure. So if you had to give one piece of advice to a crypto miner starting in 2025, what would it be?
Crypto miner starting in 2025. Well,
It's almost over now.
you better hope there's not a crazy bull market, right? Because otherwise, the like it's gonna be expensive to enter. But again, I think I mentioned that earlier. Is doing the right things at the right time, right? And continuously to invest and be firm in your belief. Even in the bull market, there will be mini cycles too, right? Like of pricing dropping a little bit and going up. So adjusting your positions depends on what your strategy is, right? If you're holding on to the coin or you're converting to USDT or USD every single day or every single week, but adjusting your position while the market is hot, and getting more infrastructures and getting more prepared, right, when things are a little cooler. So again, it's really counterintuitive. It's hard it's human nature, right, to wanting to chase, wanting to like having FOMO, right? We all do, but really have to fight against that human instinct and do the right things at the right time.
Yeah, I feel that, man. We've all had FOMO. I've got a $1,500 3060 Ti that's sitting in the other room that I bought in the Ethereum days, way overpriced. I mean, it's like a $200 GPU now. Even in normal times, that would be like maybe a $400 GPU. No, I way overpaid for it. And there's many, crypto machines and hardware and infrastructure and stuff that we've all overpaid for. So I think, learning your lesson from somebody else's mistake would be something I would say to a crypto miner. Like, don't go out there, and way over. Don't pay $10,000 for an S19. You're never going to ROI on it. You're never going to get your money back. Get into it, kind of dip your toes into it, and make it make sense for you. The DG1 Home is a perfect example, like you were saying. Having like getting the kids in early, getting them interested in it. It's a small investment that'll pay for itself, and getting them excited about the industry, about earning as you go, and especially if you keep them involved in the books. Like, yeah, we just plug this thing in and it makes crypto, but no, you have to keep them involved every step of the way so they understand this is how much it costs to run it. This is how much the maintenance is and the infrastructure and so on and so forth. So if you kind of make it a business, gamify it as it were to be. So yeah, I definitely resonate with that as well.
Yeah, and also I think one more thing I will mention is to understand really what are you getting into, right? Either it's Bitcoin mining or Dogecoin mining. Again, understand what you're getting into, and once you understand that will help you to have a firmer belief and really understand of when to get in and what to do once you get in. So again, kind of resonate to the same topic we mentioned earlier, which is continuous education, right? We all have to, I think, do our part and contribute to the better knowledge of I guess the spreading of the knowledge, right? To people in general, and help everyone understand what this is and what they're getting into and how to be successful once they get into it. It's always the planning that I think that matters for longer term, right? Even if you bought something overpriced, but if you see if you have a game plan for it, I think it always helps, right? But obviously, buying at the top, it makes the plan a little bit more challenging, but nonetheless, it's possible, right?
Good
As
way
long
to
as you
put it.
have fun and you have a long-term belief in what you're doing.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So me and some friends, we're going to invest in a hamster farm. Okay. If you want to get in on this early, let me know. We're going to buy a bunch of hamsters, and we're going to tie their hamster wheels to turbines. So we just like get them out there and let them run circles on the hamster wheels. And we're going to use that to power our crypto farm. So if
There
you're
we go.
interested, reach out to me. You know how to get a hold of me. If you want to invest, it's a great way to get in at the ground level.
There we go. Love the
Okay.
idea.
Perfect. So, wrapping this up here, for anyone who's watching or curious about Elphapex or the DG2 series or anything you guys are doing, what's the best way for them to get started and to learn more?
Like you said, the website is a great start. You can see all our products there. You can see some of our stories, our philosophies, our team there. But obviously, feel free to reach out to me. You can find me on Telegram at Payne Kong, like my name is spelled here. LinkedIn, X, can find me anywhere. Happy to answer any questions, happy to have discussions, and happy to, talk about mining in general.
Thank you for your time today, Payne. And I just want to say, your X handle is the best. Payne the Kong. I think is probably the best handle I've seen all day.
Thank you, Alex. It's old handle, but it serves a purpose.
It serves a purpose. It does the job. It definitely stands out. So it's memorable for sure.
Memorable, yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. You guys have a great day, and make sure you like, subscribe, follow me, follow Payne, go check out Elphapex, and we'll see you around.
Thank you, sir. Talk to you next time.